We're back on the hype.
We're
the
back.
hype man.
Oh yeah, we're back for another episode.
Episode 3, if you count just the boys episodes, because we're looking at series 3.
Oh, that's true. Actually, I've got a question, mate. Have we is this like a new season? Have we declared this as a new season on the podcast?
I'm keeping it season 5 because when we started, we kept to the phases. So until phase 5 finishes, this is all phase 5, my friend.
Ah, fair play. That makes more sense.
It'll be easier that way because you can't label a well, this is getting into admin, but just so you listeners at home know, who does all the work, I can't label.
Yeah, right.
Joking, that's a big lie. I don't label the phase. I can't label the phase a name, so I couldn't go Marvel Phase 5. It's just Phase 5.
Yeah, not how it works. Anyway, mate, how are you, my dear friend Boris?
All right, mate.
I just realised how fucking mundane that was. Boring admin there. My name's Forrest, blah, blah, blah. I've decided not to change the first season, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. You know what? I'm overjoyed because we're getting some nice comments on our Spotify episodes. So, in case you didn't know, if you go on a specific episode, you can actually write a little comment. And I always publicise the comment so everyone can see it. Someone expressed that they had never seen The Boys, but thoroughly enjoyed the episode.
Thank you very much. Who's that comment by? Do they have a name?
They do have a name. Thanks for doing this on the spot, Matt. So
sorry,
again, you're going to mug me off because I'm going to have to do...
We'll just wait in silence. Wait, in silence. This is how committed we are to this podcast. This is how we know that you're staying with us, dear listener. We're just going to wait in silence in this beginning of the podcast.
It is Rose C. I've seen what they've done there.
Rose C.
C-double-E, which is Rosie.
Oh, I like it. I love it.
Very clever. Unless their name is actually Rose C, in which case... genius parents.
That's brilliant.
Rose said, great episode. To be honest, never watched The Boys, but my hubby loves the show.
Brilliant. Make sure when you go and see the Deadpool 3, you go to Rose C. Rose C. Oh! Stop me with the rhymes, everyone. Oh!
And it was at that moment where Forrest and Matt lost their only listener. Please don't. Please, drop us a message. We always read them. We always publicise them.
Yeah, we do.
We've had a couple of funky emails, hopefully, which, early days. But yeah, it's all getting exciting on the pod, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I mean, you talking about all the wonderful stuff that you're doing in terms of uploading and, on the episodes and stuff. In terms of the legwork that I do in this podcast, I like to do the reels and the old Instagram. So we get pretty good. I say we get some comments. It's not filling with comments, but TikTok's pretty good. In all fair, we do pretty well on TikTok. But anyway, if you're not following us on either TikTok or Instagram, please do. Don't Be a Hero podcast. We're on there. We put reels up, highlights from this episode, also visual highlights as well.
Visual,
because we visualize as well. So do make sure you do get on there, get on it, because we're talking all things The Boys. We've done season 1, we've done season 2, and now we're at season 3.
Credits rolled, we all celebrated,
We did.
and here we are. We've returned to talk about The Boys Series 3, which I'm going to start off by saying
Yeah.
The words soup brothel is what we got in this series.
Soup brothel.
It's a soapy brothel.
It's a soup of brothy frothy, if you get what I mean.
It is. It was tits and penises aflow.
It's like it's like
mad.
the show already created the line, right? In terms of what you could show from a superhero perspective, right? It already made that line in terms of gore, explicitity, and then boom, season 3 happened, Hero-gasm happened, and pow, we're going to break that line. We're going to then create a new one, which is exactly what, actually, in all honesty, if we're going straight into overview thoughts of season 3, that's exactly what it does. It absolutely smashes the ceiling. I think this is, in terms of story richness, in terms of visuals, in terms of even funny moments, it absolutely delivers, and it really feeds off of the last successful 2 seasons. And mate, this is my favourite season so far. Gosh, I'm excited for next week. Season 4 is coming later this week. Actually, it drops on the 13th. Hello, can't wait. What are your overall thoughts?
I thought I had a great time. I had a lovely time. It was fantastic. It's about as many adjectives as I could possibly squeeze.
That is like I've gone to a family do. I've sat down with a cup of tea. And I've asked my uncle. You know what? How was that holiday you went to in Devon last week? Oh yeah, no, it was a good time, lovely time. Went for a walk, like.
It was it was a trip to where at Cornwall.
What?
Did you wherever you said?
I said Devon.
It's
fine.
It was a lovely trip.
Whatever.
No, it was great. It was brilliant. I think my mind is saying that there was dippy moments for me.
Oh, you and your dips.
There were slight dips, Matt. There was slight dips. Again, not so keen on the deep. I've got to be honest. I'm not deep for the deep.
Look, just because he's attracted to fish, and you don't see it. All right.
I know.
Love is love, Forrest.
It is. It's a thoroughly enjoyable series. I think, on retrospect, now that we're putting all the series together, I mean, this is like an end conclusive thought, but you've got me there quickly. I think series 1 for me still kind of captures all energy. But the series was great, and we're going to talk about why. And one of those reasons, Matt, I think have you given your general thoughts?
Yeah, just effectively, it kind of like smashes through the ceiling. That's basically what I said. I think it's the best season. Lots more character development. In terms of each relationships that we see. We see a lot more with our heroes and our antagonists as well. In terms of their development, and mate, yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'd watch this season again and again. I'd like have it in the background. Do you know what I mean? Watching it again.
Yeah, all right.
Without the kids, obviously.
Is that good?
That's the other thing, right? In terms of my tactics, right? In terms of my tactics of watching this season, I mean, you've been, mate, I just got to say as well, just before we press record, you've just been like, mate, I'm already on episode 3 of Gen V. Mate, you're smashing through this. You've absolutely smashed through this, by the way. Do you know what I had to do?
Oh, what's that?
Well, because of the nature of the show, I can't exactly, during the day, watch it on my TV. It's not exactly appropriate, right, peeps? Make sure you're all, when you're watching stuff like this, with your own discretion, especially if you've got young ones in the house, right? Little PSA for you. But... So I had to watch it through my phone. I had to have it with earphones in. There were so many times when the kids were asking something of me. I've just got nothing but shouting, goring punches and hero-gasm sounds.
Wow.
While I'm like literally looking at it like close to my face as possible, going, yeah, no. And there was moments where we watch it out. I was like, no, you can't. No,
there's a huge cock on the screen.
It was a minefield. I had to really be tactical. Literally, I've only just finished watching it, like literally 2 seconds before pressing record.
Yeah, and he's not exaggerating, ladies and gents. He came in to record, and I had to pause an extra 10 minutes after waiting 15 minutes for his arrival. I had to wait another 10 minutes whilst he finished the episode. But I'm childless. It's far easier for me to watch it. I appreciate that. I appreciate my what's that? Not prestige. It's definitely not prestige. What you call it? What you call your? You know when you say it a lot about rich people have to kind of, or white males have
privilege.
What's privilege? That's the word. Thank you, my friend. So childless privilege. Thank you. But yes, got you. But first things first.
Right.
You teased me like you've never teased me before, man.
I love a tease, mate.
When you came to the 2 words, do you know what 2 words I'm about to say for this series?
I'm going to whisper it. Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy. Now, I am instantly going to say something that I don't know will make you laugh, but certain listeners will find this funny. For weeks and weeks, potentially a year now, because you've told me to watch The Boys, and any time you have mentioned Soldier Boy, I thought the person who sung Soldier Boy, or no, there is an artist called Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
I thought that was who I was waiting to see. So I thought Soldier Boy had turned actor and was in this show.
Wait.
And now I realise, or quite quickly I realise in this series, that it's a soldier, as in goes to war. Not the singer Soldier Boy. So
the American rapper and record producer Soldier Boy.
That's the one. I thought, wow, this is a little, which kind of would work for this. Like him just randomly showing up and he's a superhero would be as batshit crazy as this program, would lend itself to.
So you're talking about Soldier Boy. So Soldier Boy off in it. Oh, watch me crank it. Watch me roll. Watch me crank that Soldier Boy. Then Superman that. Oh, I mean, you're talking about superheroes.
We've just found
now. Watch
feature.
Me, watch you crank that Soldier Boy. That guy. You talking about that same guy?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Right.
Whoa, crank that.
Whoa, Soldier Boy up in that. Whoa, watch me lean in, watch me rock. Superman that. Oh, yeah, watch me crack that RoboCop. Super fresh. Now watch me jucking all those haters, man. When I do that Soldier Boy, I lean to the left there, crank the left thing, and then there you go.
That one. Yeah, that one there.
That one.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Could not be further away from Soldier Boy. Is actual Soldier Boy. Literally, yeah. So we get Soldier Boy in this series. Quality character, a lot of backstory there. He's being treated like an awful, like a creature by the Russians. He's being worked on. Mental.
I mean,
and we get
What do you? How do we? Yeah, no, fuck it. I mean, and it's the other thing, dear listener. If this is the first time you're coming into a Boys episode review from the old Don't Be a Hero podcast, we're talking about the season as a whole. We're not going to go episode by episode, so I'm just going to crank straight in with it. Question for you: what do you think about that first scene when we are introduced with Soldier Boy? From obviously, so in the episode, I think it might be episode 4 or 5. Don't quote me on that, but we are in Russia. We also go to Russia as well. We've got this underground base. It gives me very Stranger Things season 4 vibes. Ooh, when they go to Russia. But, you know what I mean? It's quite reminiscent of it in terms of who's there, in terms of the lockdown kind of situation. But there's this ominous kind of chamber. And they don't really notice it at first, and then they kind of see that there's that gerbil that's being gerbil, thing, guinea pig, that super guinea pig, which is, by the way, don't see past that moment when it takes that guy out with its eye. It eats through that guy's eye. then the thing's gone. Does it get shot? Does it get killed? I don't think it does. I think it gets away.
Apparently, it's a big feature for Series 4.
Is it? You're buggy.
You
wanted me up, you silly sod.
Gerbil's big one. The big gerbil coming in, looking after the 7.
If only it spoke and it was like proper Russian.
Oh,
hello, I am the gerbil. I'm going to take your face off now. No.
Yeah, that'd be quality. So, yeah, we get Soldier Boy. We get Soldier Boy's all right. So you told me, what do I think of Soldier Boy's like at first scenes? I'm gonna say underwhelming.
Yeah,
to say the least, because he comes
after
out.
I hyped it up.
Yeah, because he comes out, he goes, oh, bloody angry, and then he removes Kimiko's superpowers basically, and then fucks off, and that's it. And then for that, like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about Soldier Boy, because I think the character is great, but I think. The personality of Soldier Boy isn't quite up there for me. If you think, like, we had Stormfront in Series 2, we've got Homelander on Series 1, if you really take Homelander's arc as the main arc, right? And I just feel like Homelander's personality is so, like, layered, strong, like, you know, really, really strong personality there. You've got, and then Stormfront, like, you knew who Stormfront was. She was, like, that was that. Whereas Soldier Boy just it feels to me that he's just a miserable teenager. And it's like, I wanted, like, this is a guy that they keep going on about. Like, where's the fucking, like, and I know, you know, we see glimpses back to, like, in the 1900s, we see glimpses of him when he was with the original kind of, what would be the 7, right? The original soups of the time. And we see a little bit more personality, but I think, I don't know, like, I expected someone with a little bit more kind of oomph about them, especially if they go, because I expected someone to go at Homelander in a way that made, like, we potentially had someone who was a little bit more daring outside of the superpowers. So, but Soldier Boy is, but that's because his superpowers are so strong, right? But the personality didn't match that, I suppose, is what my argument is.
So you didn't like his entrance?
Long story short, no, I didn't.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, man. Yeah. Actually, as much as I was hyping it up, when it actually came to it, I went, oh. In my head, I had, for some reason, I thought he, like, smashed through it. Do you know what I mean? I thought he, like, smashed through the chamber and, like, terminated himself out. You know how Terminator arrives at the beginning, you know, his first entrance, he does that, like, fist down and he stands up. It's like, I thought it was way more like that, and it just wasn't. And also there was this other thing. There was a terrible fake beard on him. Like, it was just a ridiculously long beard, and it was just like, that's really, really fake. They should have just not done that in the first place. Should have just left him as a monster, to be fair. But, like, yeah, it was just a bit, and then all of a sudden, his character, you don't really get to see his character develop that much, and he doesn't give much, which I think, actually, in all honesty, I think they're kind of saving that for season 4. I'm hoping they are anyway. I'm hoping we're going to get more of character development from Soldier Boy. But ultimately, I think the performance, I don't know, it's not bad. It's not a bad performance. I think, is the casting right? Maybe let's ask ourselves that. Is the casting right? Is Jason Eccles actually the best person to play this role? Even though he's been tipped to play Batman. He's been tipped to always play Batman, which is, I can kind of get, because he definitely looks like a Bruce Wayne, but sorry, I butted him.
No, I just did a joke, to be fair, and it didn't land. So I went, it should have been Super. It should have been Soldier Boy. Because this guy is in Supernatural, isn't he?
Yeah,
is this guy?
that's
This
it.
guy's well known for a super, and again something I've never seen, but I know people go fucking wild about him, and this is
It's a bit of a name casting, isn't it?
exactly. Me and Matt, both actors. Like we know, problem you'll find is an actor will do one job and they'll be like, fucking hell, they're amazing, and then they'll get a whole host of other big gigs, and it never quite lives up to the first job they did, because essentially they were just like that first character they did was basically the actor. Right, they're just playing themselves, a heightened version of themselves. So what happens? They get drafted into all of these other characters that have either got slightly more personality or different to the person they are, right? And then the actor can never live up to that first job. So, and I think that this is a victim of that. And I would have preferred, I just would have preferred someone a lot more like scatty. You've got Homelander's so like serious and like, I am Superman, I am number one. Well, hello, my light just, did you see that? Oh, mate. The light just fucking hell, right?
Sorry,
light just automatically switched on in the background. But yeah, fucking hell, train of thought. It
Scatty.
should have been someone to go opposite to Homelander. So you got Homelander's Superman, and what we needed was like the Peter Quill, right?
Yes.
We needed someone a little bit more like, I've got all of these superpowers, but actually my personality is so like cool that you wouldn't expect me to have them. And then boom, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, I'm here, oh yeah, Homelander, oh, it sounds proper tragic. Boom, I take away your powers. Like, it's that
just
kind
played,
of
it was too
subtle
angry.
evil.
It was too outwardly angry, and I think the anger should have came through passive aggressiveness and like sarcastic remarks. I think that's where the scatty and the quirkiness could have probably come out from the character. We got all of that from Stormfront in the previous season. We needed a replacement to that, because the other thing is as well is that I thought Stormfront did so well in the role in terms of the character being so interesting as well, and it ended in that one season. Well, she was in a couple of episodes of season 3, but obviously then she killed herself, in quotation marks there, because she didn't really. It's more about what can we do to then add to the already extensive personalities that you've got, and that's what we needed, because that's what we gained in season 2, and then we just lost it, and we didn't get it back in season 3. Sorry, go on.
No, yeah, because I was just going to say, we'd be like, you've got Billy the Butcher, you've got Homeland, you've got all of these like serious figures, and do you know what? In this series in particular, the person that stood out for me was actually Huey. And that's because he's one of the only male characters in this series that isn't all dark doom, like gloomy, like, oh, life's miserable. Like, he's teleporting and loving life. He's fine. Like, he's having a whale of a time on Compound V, and actually makes it really fun to watch. Like, his character, like, because it's so different to the others, and I thought Soulja Boy could have like brought in a bit of that. It's almost like you wanted someone who is so doesn't look the part, so like almost like Nick Frost, like someone so doesn't fit the bill, but is actually so like shit hot at what they do. I mean, because imagine that against Homelander. Homelander would be like, oh, you've just presented me inverted commas, a big man. Like, what are they gonna do? Look at me. I'm all like toned up. I'm all like tough. Ooh, and then he gets like face to face with like a Nick Frost type character. It would be brilliant. It would be great for him of being like, I'm gonna fuck you up, actually, mate.
Do you feel like are you excited to see more of Soulja Boy going into season 4?
I don't know. Not sure, to be honest.
What do you think he's going to do next?
I don't know. So I don't know. What is he going to do next?
That's a fair point. Because I'm exactly the same, mate. I don't actually I'm not like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like, okay, there is literally no other story for him to currently tell. There has nothing been added. There's nothing been left in the cliffhanger. The revelation and the reveal of the fact that he is the biological father of Homelander. Okay, then they had all that kind of bit at the end, and then there was no resolution around it. So what do? We just kind of see more of the same.
And at the end, like the very last scene, or one of the very last scenes where we get Homelander and Ryan.
Yeah.
In front of the public, it almost feels to me, Matt, that they've kind of gone, right, we've done that arc, and now we're going to move on. It doesn't really like there's other things that happen in that last episode that you're like, okay, that's what I want to follow.
Yeah.
Rather than that, so I'm interested. I feel like they bought. It almost feels like he was a big character in the comics. We brought him in. You've had a bit of him. Now we want to go our own way. But I haven't read the comics, so I'm fabricating that potentially. But that's almost what it feels like.
Yeah, so if we were to move on, because this is the thing, characters are so many of them, and I was aware in our last episode we spent a long time talking about Homelander. We spoke a little bit about Starlight and obviously Butcher. Obviously their characters and their stories develop, but I think it's worth just kind of like touching on a few characters, particularly that do kind of develop as well in it. Quickly touching on it, and how do you kind of feel about Huey now? We've seen a little bit more in his development, taking the Temp V as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I thought, and I hope they do more of his when he takes Temp V and he's in like teleporting. Like I hope we get more of that, because actually I thought that was really cool. And I quite like that Huey's kind of gone, well, no, actually, he's going to find his own path now, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of told, Starlight, like, this is me. This is the person you're with now. And like this, I'm going to take my own direction, and whether you like it or not. I feel like him and Billy had a good arc this series. And I'm really intrigued how Billy going back to his past, like involuntarily, and seeing his father and his brother, which I thought, like, how incredible was that? By the way, that was done really well. Good way.
Was done really well in terms of that. The way that was kind of told through the eyes of being under that kind of spell, that kind of dreamlike thing that it was in.
Do you think that Huey and that's the end of Huey and Starlight?
No. I think that relationship will go. It's not exactly like the Pam and Jim of The Office. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not exactly that.
Yeah.
But it is certainly going to be something I think will develop. I'll be interested to see if Starlight either, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too cliche that she kind of goes into a relationship with somebody else, or Huey finds somebody else and then there's something else that kind of plays around it. I don't know if that's necessary with a show like this, but something needs to happen between those two.
I've got a controversial theory.
Go for it.
So this is The Boys. This is a series that, arguably is a program about not going like the conventional route. Right. Also, which, by the way, is one of my gripes, is about Maeve being alive at the end. Really annoyed me. Because this program started to get into territory of, we're going to kill any character. But now we're not, because we're going to show that they die. Same with Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy and Maeve look like they did. No, both of them are alive. Yeah. All of the people you thought could have died have just stayed alive. We're back to episode 1. No one died.
Yeah.
So that annoys me. But do you know how they could solve that?
Go on.
What if, so Maeve, still alive, now fully on board with the boys' mission, fully on board with how Starlight felt in series 1/2.
Yep.
What if they kill off Starlight? Because why would they kill off Starlight? It gives Huey an arc. So we've started to get Huey kind of delving into Temp V. He's starting to realise, actually, if I become one of the boys, maybe we can defeat and do something. So number one, it would give Huey a bit of an Avengers / turning into Billy the Butcher, because he's avenging his partner in a slightly different way, but still. And also, how cool would it be to have her keep Maeve alive, only for Maeve to lose the one person that she, like, as a female, sees herself in?
Oh my gosh.
There'd be a lot of layers if they killed off. It'd be very brave, and there'd be a lot of layers if they killed off Starlight.
Do you think they'll do that?
I think, bearing in mind the end of Series 3 ended how it began, and no one died, I think in my mind, they're going to have to be quite brave and kill off one of the boys in this series. Someone's got to die, and if they do what I worry about, the easy route would be to get rid of either Kimiko or Frenchie. The more complex route and the more fun route to watch as a viewer would be if they get rid of Starlight, Huey, or Maeve. But even Maeve's a bit boring now, because Maeve's died about 3 times and never actually died. So I think Maeve's going to survive, quite frankly. But it'd be really interesting in getting rid of Starlight or whoever else I just mentioned.
I think Butcher's going to die.
Yeah,
I do.
I do.
I think Butcher's, because Butcher's on this arc, and again, I think if we're going to the comics, I think Butcher does die in the comics by the hands of Huey. Actually, I think. I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think it's going towards that, because what I can see currently, what I'm hoping from Butcher is in season 4, Butcher is going to go into more of a story arc about protecting Huey, because through the loss of his brother, he sees a second chance with Huey. He sees a potential younger brother in Huey, and he wants to protect him and make sure he doesn't end up with the loss that he had previously. I think that's going to backfire, and I think he's going to be killed in result of that.
How better? But why would Butcher look after Huey? Get rid of Starlight. Huey's got a reason to be super aggressive, super angry. Then you pit Billy and Huey against each other, because then Huey just says to Billy, I spent, the equivalent of 2 seasons looking after you because I was trying to sort you out because you were trying to avenge Becca, and now you're telling me not to avenge Starlight because you want me to be all right. Then that would create the tension between Huey and Butcher, and Huey could absolutely
So you're saying Butcher kills Starlight?
No. I think Starlight dies. But from the hands of the 7, so it could be the Deep, could be A-Track, any one of them, get rid of Starlight. That then pits Huey against the 7. Butcher says, no, I've had this epiphany, we've got to stop, but we're never going to defeat the 7. That then pits Huey and Butcher against each other, and then you get your ending, because that's when Butcher, last episode of the series, holy shit, is he about to kill Butcher? Series 5, he doesn't kill Butcher.
Fuck, that's brilliant. Well done, mate. Brilliant.
Job done.
Season 4. K-Dog, not K-Dog, whoever you are. Seth Rogen. Oh, that came out. That felt wrong. K-Dog, you got nothing to do with this. Your old news, K-Dog. You're washed up, Kevin Feige. You're washed up. You're a has-been. Put the tail in there, K-Dog. You're no longer relevant. Sorry.
I can tell you've been around actors all week, mate. Someone's been having fun in the rehearsal room.
I'm exhausted of all the fun I'm having. It's interesting. I think that's such a really good take. That's a really good theory. Would you like to know a little Easter egg from season 3?
Hit me up.
Okay. So, when Huey goes into the orphanage, we see a little teleporting child that's darting around the orphanage. I think it's in the earlier episodes, episode 2, I think, of season 3. Do you know who that boy is who's darting around and teleporting in the orphanage?
I'm just going to say, isn't this series 2, mate?
Nope,
because this is
season 3.
No, yeah. Oh. Are you sure it's not season 2? Because isn't that the whole introduction that we get to Victoria Newman? Isn't this how we literally meet?
I'm pretty sure
I'm sure. I thought we talked about this. Oh, no. You were right. Episode 2, The Only Man in the Sky, Series 3. Huey visits Red River, an orphanage for superpowered children. You're right. I'm wrong. I shut up. Carry on with your Easter egg. I don't know who I don't know who's darting around.
Okay, so, as we know, I'll rephrase it all. Forrest, just so I can clip this for the real. Let's start again. Forrest, would you like to know an Easter egg?
Sorry, say that bit again because I cut over.
Okay, take 3. And ready, dear listener? You ready? Yep. Okay, here we go. Forrest, would you like to know an Easter egg?
Hell yeah, Matt.
Okay, let me tell you. Did you know, in the early episodes of season 3, that we go to the orphanage where Huey is, and we meet a certain child that's teleporting around the orphanage. Now, did you know also that we have moved on in time a little bit since the previous season by about a year? Are you aware of that?
Oh, I was not aware of that, but I do remember the orphanage episode from series 3.
Very good. And if we're going to hark back from the ending of season 1, when Madeline Stillwell is blown up at the house, and you are rather concerned there, dear Forrest, about a certain baby Stillwell that was inside that house. Now, the teacher at season 3 goes to the little teleporting child and says, "Hey, Teddy," as in Teddy Stillwell, which was very much named, who is not dead. So the baby, basically, the baby that was in season 1, Madeline's child, is alive and in an orphanage as Teddy Stillwell. So he's not dead.
He's alive.
He's alive.
Little Teddy.
Just
little Teddy's alive.
A little alleviation for all the worried viewers about that baby Stillwell. That was our lovely little Easter egg. Moving on. Forrest.
Fantastic. Loving the Easter egg.
Can we talk about something though?
Ooh. Yes, we may. Yeah. What would you like? Ooh.
It's weird because I don't know if this is going to not, like, for instance, I feel like if we're going to talk about this episode, it might potentially make us not get to other audiences because it's quite an explicit episode.
What?
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Other audience? No, I know which one you're on. What do you mean other audiences?
So when you, like, I've just noticed as well, I don't know if you've noticed this, by the way, just to go super off topic, okay? But on Instagram, the moment you put swears into a reel,
oh yeah,
it takes away the opportunity of going further out to your audiences that aren't following you.
Oh really?
It kind of like minimises your chances of reach.
This could be a nice game that the listeners at home get to listen to and then get to watch a reel of. Maybe we could talk about said episode in a way where we never directly say the things that are in the episode.
So we are going to do a non-explicit deep dive, hello, into the episode that is Herogasm.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
They all just fuck each other, don't they? It's amazing.
Senseless.
Just
it's insane.
Everybody is fucking each other. It's incredible. Yeah. I mean,
we're not doing that game. we're not doing that game. I
thought that's what we were setting ourselves up for, no?
No, but I like the punchline. That was very effective. I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, they are. They're like, there's all
dicks,
sorts.
There's tits, there's arses. It's just everything's out.
Oh, mate, and like, as a again, you know, and I've said this numerous times this episode. It's probably boring at this point, but again, as an actor, I cannot imagine getting on set and going, oh, okay, we're filming that. It's that scene today, and then they literally go, Forrest, your moment on set. Could we just take you now? Yeah, sure, yeah. Right, Forrest, if you walk through those doors, there'll be, you know, a couple of cameras. Paul, the director, is waiting for you. Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, we've all got and action. Okay, they're going wild. They're going wild on the left. They're going wild. Like, how are you supposed to concentrate? And I think there were genuine. That must have been quite a genuine reaction that the actor Mother's Milk, and I think it's
oh my god,
Mother's Milk, and I think isn't Starlight in that one as well?
Yeah,
isn't it
yeah.
the two of them? Yeah. And literally, it's fucking insane. These are like actual like models, just like go like full on going at it.
It is absolutely obscene in every sense. They apparently, the actors were quite taken aback by the process and the actual intention. So they did kind of, obviously they had a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. Dear listener, if you haven't seen it, there was obviously a consent kind of like disclaimer, because basically all of the actors that were in that bit fully consented to that, and it was all done safely, and there was all the intimacy coordinators and all that kind of stuff. But not to take away from the shock value, it was completely shocking in every sense. But like the actors were like, "Oh, we're actually doing this. Oh, okay, cool." And they were all completely up for it, and they were all completely kind of on board with it. But they were all still kind of like, it is Jack. So apparently, according to Jack Quad, who plays Huey, said it's my favourite episode we've ever done, bar none. Which is, he said, it's so crazy, but also every character gets a second to shine, and it gets a real hearty, meaty scene as well. And he used meaty as a pun intended.
Meaty, love that, big fan. Because is this a series that starts with the guy who can shrink and then goes inside the penis?
Yeah.
Because doesn't it start like, it already starts off at quite a okay, we're taking up a slow notch here, and then boom, we just have basically an episode worth of porn. That's what this is, and like it is, you know, on the extent of like Game of Thrones to like actual Pornhub material, it's getting close. Like this is like pretty much like I dread to think how much you had to hide watching that episode around the kids, mate. That must have been.
I mean, it's the deep getting sucked off by a fish. That's one.
in so graphic, such a graphic way.
That's one thing. You've got the man with the ridiculously long penis that is just wrapped around other people. You've got getting covered when he opens up a door, absolutely cannoned with ejaculate, like absolutely cannoned with it, and it's funny. It's so funny. It's like it's so well put together. Honestly, this whole episode is so good, because then what happens and follows in that episode is a really cool action sequence with Soldier Boy, with Homelander, with Huey, with with Butcher, with Starlight. They're all in it. They're absolutely going for it. And then there's that moment when they're holding...
I don't know which episode you watched.
They're going at it.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was the wrong...
They're all just going for it.
I thought there was something going on with that episode. I was like, I don't remember it like this. Then I just heard the drum. Boom, boom. I was like, oh yeah, it's Pornhub, isn't it? Anyway, we've got a wonderful sequence at the end. I was going fully in with a legit thing.
I know. I stopped you, and now you've just you're thinking about penetration.
No,
there you go.
I'm just thinking of now. This is what The Boys does to you. It desensitizes you, doesn't it? It
It does.
desensitizes you to this point. No, it's not a massive gangbang, Forrest. What happens at the end is that Homelander is pinned down, not sexually, but violently. It could be, I don't know.
Not in a sexual way.
I think Huey's naked at the time, so I mean, anything could be happening down there for Huey. Who knows? But like, there's that moment when they're pinning him down, and you see just the fucking rage from Homelander to the point his eyes go all red, and then he pushes himself off, and none of the words are helping, and he really, and he just absolutely tosses himself off up into the sky and disappears. Minus the ejaculate, which I think is amazing. I mean, if that's not edging, I don't know what is.
Wow, I think we've definitely managed to. We can definitely squeeze in a PG reel out of that. I think that we've absolutely smashed our target of ensuring that material stays on Instagram. So I can't wait. If you can't wait to see that reel, get involved. Don't Be a Hero podcast on Instagram. Keep watching our reels.
Oh, come on. I mean, let's be honest.
Find out how Matt edits that together.
This is the podcast. When we started this, we ended up doing some erotic fan fiction, Forrest.
True.
Did we not?
We did indeed.
Do we all remember the Black Widow Hulk erotic fan fiction? Do I have to bring that out again?
Well, might have to, mate. Might have to.
We had that. What else did we have? We had Captain America and Elsa from Frozen.
Oh yeah,
that was one.
Grounds.
That was a bit of dodgy one.
That nearly shut the podcast. Got to be honest. Yeah, that was what I've forgotten all about that.
Crazy. But I mean, I think overall it was a really good episode, and I loved it. I think there's nothing. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, well, now they've done that, they've got to do something else for season 4. Not on that level. It doesn't have to be that. But like it needs to be something as big or as pinnacle as that, because we kind of got little bits of that in season 2. Gen V's like that as well.
Yeah.
It kind of pushes the boat a little bit. It's in the DNA of The Boys as well. This is the thing. They didn't kind of just go, oh, let's do this for the shock value. This was in the comics as well, so they very much kind of were true to what happens in the comics, and they've made this is fan service. Herogasm is fan service. Ooh.
And the fans loved it.
The fans loved it, I'm sure. Oh, it's not that though, is it? I think it's classily done, because it's very much about following the plot. The fact that
everything about Mother's Milk being covered in cum is just done in a really classy way. I just remember watching it and I thought, you know what? I need a glass of wine and a golden spoon in my mouth, because this just screams class. As I walk around my villa in Italy and I just look at all of the sights and I just think, oh, if only I could just add this image of a cum-soaked Mother's Milk. I just really thought, what a classy episode.
Really classy. Delicately put together. But, you know what, honestly, you'd never see this kind of thing by K-Dog. You know, poor Kevin Feige's thinking, where's my Herogasm?
Ant-Man Quantumania could have just been lifted by just, all of a sudden.
Can we stop talking about Herogasm now? Should we talk about something else?
We should. I now don't know what to talk about, Matt, because that's kind of done it. That's it.
I mean, exactly. It is a wow kind of moment in TV. I mean, it's where do you go from here? Well, I'll tell you where to go from here. We get a little bit more Frenchy. That's what I love.
We do
in this season, and I think particularly episode 7. We get a little bit more. I say a little bit more. The whole season is very much centered around Frenchie meeting Nina as well, one of his predecessors in terms of work. And we kind of learn a little bit more about what he did in the past in terms of his work, and his family relationship was really complicated as well. But like we see growth in Kimiko's relationship as well. So she becomes human at a point, and nurses through her heels. Nurses
We get a
through her
singing.
heels? She get a singing, yes.
We get a singing Kimiko, which is just my favourite scene ever.
I really liked
we had
it.
a whole musical number, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is gorgeous." And then a little dance between the two. I loved it. I actually got quite a soft spot for Kimiko's character. I think that's a great character, really good character.
One of my favourite moments in season 3 is in episode 8, where Kimiko and Frenchie are having a conversation with Kimiko. Is the person now at a point going like, look, we've got to go, we've got to leave all this. Trust me, it's you and me in this together. And there's this wonderful, heartwarming moment. It's only a really short scene. It's like a minute scene, but in between all the chaos of it's episode 8, just a touching moment between two. Like they are family, and it's said in the lines that they I consider you as family, and all of that conversation is through sign language at the time, right? And it's just powerful, and it goes to show flipping out that you can tell such good stories through that as well. Which I think actually when we get to Echo, I'm really interested to see how that's kind of done. But Kimiko is brilliant in this. Kimiko, Frenchie, both their relationships together, smashing it. They're the Jim and Pam. If we're talking about Jim and Pam relationships, I think they're Jim and Pam. I think we need it.
Yeah.
I think it will happen. I think they're sowing the seeds.
And that's the thing. I'd actually rather we get them two together and we don't get Huey and Starlight.
Yeah.
And I think, just kill off Starlight and have Kimiko and Frenchie. Yes, please.
That's what we're about. Oh, yeah. Go on. I was going to talk about Maeve.
Oh, talk about Maeve. Yeah, let's talk about Maeve.
You said last week, you were like, I don't know where Maeve goes from here, and I don't know what's going to happen with her character. It feels like she's a bit of an afterthought. What are your thoughts in terms of her character development this season?
I was completely right, Matt.
Yeah.
And it also...
She gets locked away for half a season.
How fucking random was her and Billy's sex scene? Oh, where did that come from?
Yes.
It's like, whoa, no. This is not believable in an instance. Like, them two barely know each other.
Yeah.
And every time they have engaged in conversation, it's been a shithole of a situation every time. So at what point did they suddenly get in cahoots and like all right with each other? And like she's providing him a load of like temporary V.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very odd it's a very odd plot. It kind of feels like we had this a lot with Phase 5. Well, Phase 5 so far, Phase 4 a bit of as well of Marvel of the MCU, where it feels like we've had a lot of like cut scenes where we missed out on a couple of scenes that they got rid of early this series, which would have kind of explained a bit more about them too. Whereas instead we were just thrown into a random sex scene. Random Maeve is like more than happy to fucking risk her entire life grabbing temporary V for Billy. And then at the end she dies but doesn't die. And I'm like, right, okay. I just so disappointing because I love the character of Maeve and I think the opportunity is there to do something really great, but for whatever reason, not the case.
Do you think we're getting a bit of a redemption arc in A-Train? With everything that's happening with him and his brother's relationship, with the racist kind of undertones with was it Hawk? What's his name?
Something
Hawk. Blue Hawk.
Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk. Yeah. After receiving A-Train is successfully revived after receiving a heart transplant from Blue Hawk. Yeah, fine.
I mean the way Blue Hawk dies, mate. Oh my god! The fact that A-Train just drags him by the foot and just like pelts it to the point his body becomes like transparent, like that. Oh my god, no!
Yeah.
Didn't like
Oh,
it.
Matt's gone back to Herogasm. I agree. It was a strong plot, and actually they did well. I find it really interesting actually, because this is a set of comics that came out a few years ago. I actually don't know how many years ago. I think quite a few years ago. But the comics, but the series, each series is timed perfectly to real world events. Yeah. So this series is a lot about the whole Black Lives Matter, which would have been exactly what was going on when Series 3 was released, or just after the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And I think that, it does a really good job of linking to real life events. And I think some of the scene where that guy just fucking like rips, he's in a community hall. That is Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk, right? He does this apology, and then he doesn't really apologise at all, and then he causes like a fucking absolute shitstorm in this community centre. And it's just mad. It's just mad, and it's a really good plot. But again, it's difficult. The program, the Boys has a difficult thing where there are so many characters in this series. Yeah. There are so many characters overall in the program that it's really hard to be sincere in the sincere moments, because actually it's covered in mayhem, and it's about, I suppose my point would be, did that plot point have its time to actually shine, or did it feel too much like a backburn of something as important as that plot was? I don't know. It's
yeah, I think it did. Basically, I think they should have allowed space for that story a little bit more, but they couldn't, because there was so much more and different stories that were being told.
Something came up. We kind of mentioned this last week, and I think this series has kind of solidified the thought for me. The Walking Dead, which is another series based on a bunch of comic books. Now they, for a couple of their series, not all the time, what they do occasionally is they will do a whole episode about two characters, one character, or they will do a whole plot in one episode. Yeah. Right? Now there is a part of me that thinks maybe what The Boys hasn't done and could have done is dedicated 1 or 2 episodes per series to a completely separate, inverted commas, because it's not really separate, plot, so that we get that time to breathe. In the same way The Last of Us have done it with their adaptation of the game, where they focus very much on one thing in an episode, and it doesn't mean those other things can't come, like, be part of it. We might get flickers of like a news ticker in the background which update us to what's going on with the 7 in that episode, but I think that we could have really had a whole episode with Blue Hawk versus A-Train, which would have just given the time for the plot to breathe, would have given some kind of sincerity to it, but would have also allowed us to then go, right, next episode we're going into Herogasm, without it feeling like we're going on the back burner.
Yeah, that's it. I just agree with you. I'm not going to add to it. I'm not going to change anything. That perspective is absolutely correct, mate. I agree. Like, it's the thing. Like, it's one of those things. I think, unfortunately, in this season, that's the thing where really it's quite important to sort of have that representation in anything anyway, but like also when you're telling a story like that, obviously it needs to be done with delicacy and appropriateness and stuff, and seriousness as well. And it had an opportunity to go a little bit deep into it. Maybe we will get more in season 4. Maybe they're just kind of like lightly introducing it here, and then they'll kind of go a little bit deeper into it. I'd be interested to see a big hero redemption arc, because we haven't got that yet. In any of the 7, they're all just being complete shitheads, and unfortunately, some of them either die or just wait to be taken over by Homelander, or just get kicked to the curb. So it'd be nice to see A-Train turn to the other side.
Yeah, and similarly with what I've just said, because I imagine some people might think what I don't mean is that all of the plot needs to be like just in that episode. I'm not saying we just put it all in that so that we can have the rest of the show. That's not my argument. My argument is begin to embed it in other episodes, but actually it deserves an episode on its own as well. And it was the same with the Deep. The Deep in series 2, when we had that whole mental health and coming back from what he'd just done with, Starlight and all that needed an episode, because actually there was so much material that was lost there that we could have had a whole episode about this whole, like, him going in with that religious kind of cult. There's just so much to unpack there. But yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Season 3.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I mean, we haven't spoken about the ending, okay? Because obviously we've got to, because it's going to lead into season 4. So with the ending, we get the climax. With obviously we have the fight. We have the big fight. Oh, stop it!
Yeah,
we have a fight at the end with Homelander learning obviously about Soldier Boy being his dad, trying to turn him to the other side. We get Ryan now in the mix, where he says, "Look, this is your grandson. You got 3 generations here, dear Papa. Come join the family." And Soldier Boy goes, "Look, if I had the chance to raise you, I wouldn't have raised you to be such a pussy and be a disappointment." And all that kind of stuff was actually rhetoric that was said to him when he was a kid. Because when he basically he got super soldier serumed, and his dad was like, "Why don't you do that? That was a shortcut. You're a disappointment." And so he kind of just like threw that back at his own son immediately. Which then Butcher, seeing Ryan being under threat as well, had to turn to side with Homelander momentarily. And I think, again, kind of shows a little bit about Butcher's allegiance. He still is being true to Becca. But the way he says Becca is it just does irk me a little bit. Becca. It's not even a...
Becca and Ryan. Becca Ryan. Ryan.
Oh man! Oh, I want me back. Oh, I've got to save me back.
Who's died? Becca.
This blooming blighter Ryan killed me back. Oh, this bloody kid, this Ryan killed my back. Oh, my back. Fucking hell. Oh, God. Anyway, it is funny.
And then Maeve comes in. As
she does.
She loses an eye. But she's gained it back at the end, I believe. I'm pretty sure she had 2 eyes in the back.
I think she has a patch on, mate, I think.
Okay, she has a patch on. Thank God for that. And then Maeve jumps out the window with Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy goes kaboom. Then we get a sequence of different small scenes because we've got so many characters.
Tying loose ends, right?
Fucking hell, man! It's like
did they not know
ending.
season 4 was happening? Because it felt like they were really trying to tie some things up in about 15 minutes.
Just in case, yeah. So we get... First one is where we find out that Victoria Newman, who has kind of been in the background, we find out she is campaigning to be Presidente.
She is. We haven't spoken about her, so obviously her character develops quite a bit. Obviously, she turns in Stan Edgar, her own surrogate father, let's say, literally to protect her own daughter. She injects her own daughter with V as well, to protect herself, and uses it as a ploy to go, you need this to protect yourself. And the excruciating pain that gives you, I found it quite uncomfortable actually, that bit. I think again it kind of leads into the fact that she's a bit ruthless, and she's a threat in her own right. So, and
I think she's going to be
interested.
big series 4 villain, isn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Which the way they've introduced her has been good, because up to now she is quite a forgettable character, even though she's in the background and pulling quite a lot of strings.
Yeah.
But I think that's purposely so, because I think this series she's going to be like, right, now I'm fucking here.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing it. I'm in charge. So really, I'm excited for that. We what other end we also get? We then get Homelander, who murders a Starlight supporter.
My
So
God, yeah.
people are against Starlight now. Like this
Yeah.
process against Starlight. With another reason, maybe she could get killed by a supporter. Maybe.
Well, maybe. Well, it's
Do we
got
get
this.
like
We've got this kind
assassination?
of like, this real kind of like, extremist, but kind of like overly enthusiastic. Let's use the term. I'm using that term too lightly here, but like, you got this group of real dedicated Homelander, fans that just witness a flipping blind murder, and like they go yeah, and the guy that initiates the is MM's daughter's stepdad, and so then it just adds a little bit more to that kind of complexity there. Interested to see what happens. I wonder if Homelander is like running for office as well. I think he does. I think in this next season, I think that's rumored, but we'll find out because it drops at the end of this week.
Can't wait. I also, because I don't know why, I don't know why this came into my brain, but I was like thinking. You were just talking. I was thinking about all of the different like MCU, DC characters. Like which one, if you could bring anyone in to this series, what would you bring in? Right,
A DC character
or an MCU character, any other character, who would you bring in? And then it got me thinking. Earlier, right at the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about Soldier Boy and why we didn't think Soldier Boy was effective necessarily from a personality viewpoint. Now, if I was to say, if they made Soldier Boy more in keeping with the Joker.
Oh, because we don't have one of those in this. Yeah.
Exactly. And imagine someone like the Joker against someone like Homelander, because Homelander is very literal and very like black and white. Having someone like the Joker who's a bit more of a fucking psychological, like I'm gonna fuck you up psychologically to the point where you don't even know your name, Homelander. Like I think that would be insane. That would be great, mate. If we like campaign for the Joker in the MCU, Phoenix's Joker as well would be like. Imagine.
Well, I think.
Imagine.
Well, but this is the thing. This is the beauty
Fan
of
fiction.
the boys. The beauty of the boys is that they show us different perspective of the superheroes that we know from DC and MCU. Obviously, Soldier Boy is very much based on Captain America. Like, so let's see a version of that. Let's see a version of that playthrough for the Joker, because that would be so cool. Season 3 really good. Really looking forward to season 4. We've got to go and review Gen V as well. So this is the plan, dear listener, from next week. Next Wednesday, we are going to review the beginning episodes of The Boys, a season 4. And then on a special bonus episode next week on the Friday, we're going to then review a Gen V, if that's all right with you. And then we'll be all up to date, giving you all of the episodes that have been dropping week by week from The Boys up until the end of that season. And then we'll be heading ourselves back to the MCU for Echo. And then hopefully by that point, it should be Deadpool and Wolverine time.
And then once all of that is done, God knows what's next, because actually after that point, we have no idea. So with that in mind, and potentially another piece of real footage, who would you like to see Don't Be a Hero podcast review? What would you like us to watch? What would you like us to play if it's going to be our first game? What would you like us to do next? Let us know in the comments or email don'tbeaheropodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. It's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from me, because I'm looking for my better.